Welcome to Let's Be Real 100%, where we are 100% real about life. We know that life happens and we are here to talk about it. And when I say we, I'm talking about it's all God and little old me. Join us as we jump into our topic today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real. We have been on an amazing journey. Oh my goodness, today we have a journey with Miss Tiffany Hall. I hope that you all enjoy it, and we will come back and talk to y'all soon. Listening to the music and it popped on. I was like, whoa.
Who is this?
It's like I forgot. just sitting here listening. How's your day going so far?
You know what? I have no complaints. No
Yeah.
complaints. Yes, no
Awesome,
complaints.
awesome, awesome. Well, welcome to a episode of Let's Be Real, where this podcast is usually just a space to talk
Okay.
about your journey, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. Just to share with others that they are not alone in their journey, that they can make it, just hand in hand with each other.
Sure.
So, so right now, I usually open up my podcast with an icebreaker, and my icebreaker for you would be: are you reading a book right now, and what is it?
Okay. All right. You want me to tell you now?
Yes, That's just to open
You know what's
another.
crazy? I'm actually reading my book.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I'm actually reading my book because I'm about to break it down into a course.
Wow, I love
Yes.
that. I
Yes, so
love
I'm
that.
actually reading my book.
And what is the name of your book?
The book is The Power of Positive Thinking, Change Your Beliefs to Live a Life of Abundance.
Love it. I'm already on it. Just let me know when it's well. Let me know when it's published out completely. I
It's
got
out. You
you.
know what's crazy? It's out. And I coach and I do something with the organization
Right.
Positive. So with the organization side Positive, it's become, about the power of positive thinking. And I
Right.
focus so much on the domestic violence and empowering women. I was like, wait a minute.
Mm.
A couple weeks ago, somebody posted the book and they were like, this was a good read. So here I was about to create this course, and I'm like, no,
Wow.
do not reinvent the wheel. Break your book down.
Yes.
Break
That's
your
amazing.
book down. So I had to reread it. I had to reread it to break it down. And I'm like, I
Wow.
broke it down into a 4-week course.
And I'm curious on how that journey went. Like when you read your own writing, like where does your mind go
I
when you
found
do
some errors in
that?
it. I found some, this is crazy, Sean. I found some errors in it. And that was why I stopped pushing it.
Okay.
But then, I was talking to a friend of mine and they were like, well, the errors are on the publisher side. They're
Right.
not on your side. And I was
Right.
like, yeah, but and she was like, no. But then everybody's like, there's such good information in there.
Mhm.
And I was
Mhm.
like, let me get over this and go
Right.
ahead and you know what I mean? Let me get
Right. Because I
over
think you're
it.
the only one that's bothered by it. Everybody else is like, you
Yes,
know what,
because
this is good.
listen, I'm the only one that's paying attention to it. So I have
Right.
that. And then I'm actually with the positive side. I'm about to introduce an anthology. I'm about to do a call for writers and an anthology, and it's called Don't Be Afraid to Turn Off the Light. And it's just a collective of stories of survivors of domestic violence overcoming or dealing with the healing, the faith, and the
Right.
forgiveness.
Wow.
Yes,
I,
honey.
I,
I
I'm
was
I'm ready for the story. I'm ready. I'm ready for the story on how we got here because the crazy part, and I know this person probably wouldn't mind me sharing it, but I had
Mhm.
an interview yesterday that blew my mind to pieces. I
Really?
was like, I couldn't even say anything because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you still standing here and you talking to me? Like
Mm.
she was going through her domestic violence, and it got so bad to where like she was sitting on the toilet one day and he shot her in the back of the head, and I was like, I'm
Wow.
sorry, he did what?
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing what right now? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just, and it gets that bad to where, you know, but it's amazing because it helps other women say, okay, you know what, the journey that you went on
Mm-hmm.
in that, in it, you know, where your mind was and how you was able to, I guess, make your way out of the journey, out of
Right.
the dysfunctional relationship that you're in. So yeah, this journey that I've been on with people, yeah, it's been amazing. So I'm
Well,
I'm
this one
ready.
might, I was gonna say this one might throw you for a loop for a bit when you
I'm
hear,
ready.
yeah, because
I'm
that wasn't even our history. Let's go.
all right,
Yeah.
ready. So let me. Okay, so well, you done told us a little bit about yourself, about
Mm-hmm.
the program, and you know you
Sure.
got your book and ready and everything. So let's start going on this journey. So like,
Sure.
how did your journey start, and like, where was your mind in that?
Sure. So in June of 2005, I was a victim of intimate partner domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
I was stabbed 7 times and left for dead.
See what I'm talking about? Jesus.
I have stab wounds in places where I shouldn't even be talking to you right now.
Oh my God.
Yes, I have one in the center of my chest. I have two stab wounds in my left breast. I have three on my left forearm, and I have like a slash on the heel of my left foot.
All right,
And
so I had to put my
sure,
fingers up and see
sure,
which breast was left.
sure.
And I'm like, wait a minute, the left breast is
Mhm. Come
where
on, what's
your heart
there? Come
is.
on, what's there? Come on,
Where
what's
your heart
there?
is. So I'm like, wait a
Come
minute, you
on.
guys. Yeah, I had to
But
do it. I had to put the
but
fingers
let's
up.
but
Okay, great.
let's go even further.
Right.
Where my one stab wound is on my arm, if you just turn your wrist over, that's where
Hmm.
people cut themselves to commit suicide when they slit their
Right.
wrist.
Right.
Mine's is directly
Wow.
on the other side of my arm.
Oh my
So,
God.
when I look at it and I think about it, I'm like, if my wrist was turned a certain way,
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
just something would have went another way,
Right.
I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
I wouldn't be here. So that's how my journey, that's where it stemmed from. So that was in 2005. In 2006, I stepped out and I started speaking about it.
Hmm.
I'm a domestic violence advocate. I'm, this and that.
Right.
And I came to a point where I realized I wasn't speaking from a healed space.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't
Wow.
speaking. So let me take it one step further. At one
Hmm.
point, we had reconciled after he went to jail. Yeah, he went to jail for 3 years, and then he was on probation after that.
Okay.
And at some point, we had reconciled. So, I'm out here and I'm telling the story, and people are like, you did what? And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, we reconciled, like, and not
Right.
thinking without the healing part in telling this
Mhm.
story, there is a person out here who I may be sending back in the midst of harm.
Right.
Because they're
Makes
thinking,
total
oh, well,
sense.
he tried to kill her. They reconciled. Me and my abuser can reconcile.
Can reconcile. Right. I
And
can see.
that's not the message that I wanted to send.
Right.
I had people, are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. I had
Right.
people tell me I was damaged. And the more and more I heard it, the more
Hmm.
defensive I
Right.
became. I'm not damaged. I'm not. So now here we are almost 20 years later. I was 30 then. I'm
Hmm.
48 now. We're almost 20 years later, and I can look back and I can articulate better what it
Mm.
was that I was going through,
Right.
what it was that I was, feeling, and why I made some decisions and choices that I made.
Right.
So I stepped away from speaking, did my healing work. And when I started speaking again, I realized, wait a minute, I still have the same message. I'm
Hmm.
still the same, person I am. There's certain things about me, I'm not compromising as far as,
Hmm.
faith, truth,
Right.
authenticity, being genuine, but I'm not afraid to tell my story now.
Right.
I'm not afraid to. And in me telling my story, what person do I release from their shame? What
Wow.
person do, I encourage who had doubt, who may be fearful, and not want to share their story. So now I'm going to share mine. And even with all the craziness,
Right.
I'm bold enough to stand out here and say, I might have seemed crazy, but I'm
Right.
willing to seem crazy if it frees another person from that
Yes.
bondage.
Yes.
Call
Yes.
me crazy if there's
Yes.
somebody else out here who says, you know what, I need to tell my story to heal. I'll be
Yes.
crazy for that.
Absolutely.
I'll be crazy for that. So,
Absolutely. I'm with you. Cause that's a I'm with you because like even with story of for me is
mhm,
I didn't do domestic violence, but I did the prostitution. I'm HIV
mhm,
AIDS positive.
mhm,
I and what did I just say? LBGT,
mhm.
AIDS and prostitution. So I did
Right.
all of that in order, and then it took me 10 years to truly say, okay, I'm not ashamed of this no more because I had to change my verbiage to myself as
Mhm.
well. But then as soon as I wrote my book and started writing things out, because I feel like for me, when I write stuff out, it starts to come off my mind, it comes off my heart, so I don't have to
Yes.
bear it anymore.
Yes.
So once I started writing it, and I started getting feedback and started realizing how big this community was, and I wasn't the
Mhm.
only one dealing with this. I'm like, wow, Lord,
Right.
this is wild. Like I might have did all these shenanigans in the background, but it all worked out for my good,
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
And what did you just say? Sometimes we think we're a community of one.
Yes.
And then when we start speaking, it's like, wait a minute, that's my story too.
Right.
Wait a minute, that's my story too. So for me, I got to a point where he went to jail, and you know this was another income in my household. This was another person in my household. Now all of a sudden, all
Right.
that's gone.
Right.
So I'm here to maintain for two children, a household where I hadn't had to do this by myself, in
Right.
some time. And I went to an organization to speak to an advocate. And
Mm.
when I went to speak to the advocate literally said to me, I'm telling her the story.
Hmm.
The advocate literally said to me, how did you reconcile with somebody that tried to kill you? And
Wow.
I
And that's
looked at
probably a
her.
lot of people's questions. That's just
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. But as an advocate, that's not your place.
It's not, but
And
right.
that's what made me more and more, as of recently, within the last 2 or 3 years, really become more vocal about it.
Hmm.
Because in advocacy, yeah, you might think that you're doing good, and again, I
Right.
believe that the intention is genuine with advocates, but sometimes you do more harm than good,
Yes.
because I don't
Yes.
come there for you to judge me.
Right.
And I felt judged.
Right.
I felt like I
Right.
made a decision. So I remember I said to her at that time, like I could see us having, I closed my eyes and I could see, she and I having a conversation. And I said to her,
Hmm.
you tell me how to turn the love switch off.
Mm.
You tell me. And she was speechless. She couldn't say anything.
Right.
And after that, I vowed, I said, you know what? I'm not saying anything to anybody else
Right.
about it who is supposed to be helping me, because I feel like they were hindering me.
Right.
And because back then I didn't have a me. I didn't
Come
have
on.
somebody, who could do what it is that I'm doing now.
Right.
I went through some things, and those things that I went through, I made some, decisions and just did some things. Like I'll tell you, I
Hmm.
purchased my first home shortly after it happened. And when I purchased my first home, I'm thinking this is a place, me and my kids are going to have a new start.
Yes.
We're going to grow roots. Like this is
Right.
stability for us. And when I purchased my home, so that wasn't quite a year after, but I ended up going back to work. I was working as a CNA at the time. And I was
Hmm.
at work one day and a resident grabbed my arm. So like to this day, I still have some nerve damage in my arm. Like
Right.
you can touch, like I still have nerve damage. So
Right.
back then, a resident grabbed my arm, and when she grabbed my arm, she re-injured some of the damage. So I
Wow.
ended up off work. When
Wow.
I ended up off work, that started this downhill spiral for me financially.
Wow.
And my mortgage got behind.
Yeah.
This was happening, and I had nobody that I could go say, hey, I'm not okay.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not okay.
Right.
I wrote a check or two, not being able to cover them. had a job, got fired from the job. So now all of a sudden I can't maintain at all. I
At
ended
all.
up going to
Right.
work somewhere else outside of nursing. And that
Right.
whole story is crazy, but I ended up going somewhere else to work. And when I went there to work, I was like, okay, this is something, this is different. It's the
Right.
most money I had ever made in my life.
Mm.
And I ended up fired. But when I ended
Um,
up fired, I had this stuff that, I had to cover, I had to take care of, and I
right.
couldn't.
Right.
So now they're charging me. And I was like, what? I was like,
Wow.
what? I didn't have a way to cover it. I didn't have a way to pay the money back. I was too ashamed to say to anybody, listen,
Right.
this is what happened. So they became criminal charges. They became misdemeanors,
Right.
and I just, woo, chat.
Yeah, I'm ready. I
You know
want
what I
all.
mean?
Yeah.
People do not understand the
Right.
suffering you go through behind the scenes simply because you're trying to survive and you
Yeah.
don't have a safe place to say, I'm not okay.
Right. That's like being in the deep hole looking up and you definitely can't see
You
the light
can't
of day.
see. You inside the
Yeah.
bottle trying to look out and you
Yeah.
can't see. You can't see the light of day. Who
Wow.
do I go to? Who do I talk to? Who can
Right.
I trust with this information? I look good on the outside, but on the inside, like
Right.
I'm
Come
falling
on.
apart.
Right. Right.
I'm
So
falling
in
apart.
that so
Mhm.
in that so in that state when you're losing everything, like from leaving your husband, trying to make a new start,
Mhm.
and still losing everything. Like, where was your mind? Like, what was truly going through your mind? Was it like, was you trying to give up, or was you like, okay, I got to figure out a way to figure out to get, keep going?
So I was in the hospital. It happened on a Wednesday. I was in the hospital from a Wednesday to a Sunday. When I was
Mm.
discharged from the hospital, I went straight to church. So at that time, I've been in my church 27 years. I've been in the same church for 27 years. I only know
That's
that because my son is 27 and he was in a car seat when I started going.
that's I can, and that's one way I can say how long I've been in the church too, because I like he was in a car
Yes.
seat.
My son was in a car seat. So my son is 27. So that Sunday, straight from the hospital, bandaged, bruised, broken, it was all over. It
All
had
of it.
made the world news back then. Like it was all over. It
Wow.
made the world news. I'm thankful social media did not
Yeah.
exist. I
Right.
am thankful. But I went straight to church. I knew where my faith lied.
Yes.
I knew. So it happened on a Wednesday. That next day, that Thursday, when I woke up in the hospital, I woke up to the news telling the story of a woman who was a victim of domestic violence. She was stabbed an unknown amount of times. Her medical condition was unknown. He had turned himself into the
Wow.
local county jail. And I couldn't do nothing but cry because they were talking about
Wow.
me.
Right. How you see yourself
Yeah, they
on
talking about
the
me.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, can I stay in this hospital room for the
No,
rest
for
of my
real.
life?
For
For the rest
for
of my
real.
life. And I remember I
Wow.
got up out of the bed and I went to go sit in a chair by the window.
Mm.
And at that time, I didn't know about the slash on my foot, and I almost, stumbled, almost fell. So I
Right.
hobbled over to the chair, and I was on the 10th floor of the hospital, and I looked out. There was a river view, and where I
Mm-hmm.
live at, there's like 7 bridges on this river, and
Wow.
it was still dark out, and one of the bridges is a highway. And I remember just seeing the lights, the headlights from the cars going to and from. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying to myself, everybody's life is going on and it's normal. Don't
Yeah.
they know I'm in here? What happened
Right.
to me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They going to
Right.
work, they going where they going. They don't know I'm in here like losing my
Right.
mind.
Right. Did they not watch the
They
news
why
just
are they
now? Like
did they not see it? And it was
right.
at that moment I said, God,
Right.
you saved me for a reason. I
Yes.
need you to show me why.
Come on.
I didn't
Yes.
ask him. I
Yes.
did not I did not say, God, why did you save me? I
Yes.
need you to
Right.
show me why you saved
Yes.
me. I need you to
Yes.
make it clear to me because apparently up until this point in my life, I've gotten
Right.
some things wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Since you saved me, I will forever serve you.
Yes.
So now
Yes.
here I am, 18 years later, and God said, listen, I'm handing you that promissory note right now.
Mm.
in 2021, I'm gonna hand you this promissory note
Wow.
because it's time to deliver. You said
Right.
you were going to serve. Don't
Yeah.
forget what you said.
Yes. Right.
And I'm still not why. So I tell people my why, WHY, when I go, even if I thought about it, my why is who healed you.
Come
Every
on.
time I think about why, I'm reminded WHY, who healed you. Not
Wow.
why did you allow this to
Who
happen
healed
to
you?
me?
Let me go and take that from you real quick.
Yeah. Who
Okay.
healed you? That's why I do what I
Wow.
do. I'm never going to question him as to, God, why is this going on? No, I'm going to say why. Who
Wow.
healed you? That's why this is happening. Because you
Wow.
were built for this.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Yes.
woo woo. All right. So like you said, let's break this thing down a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, man, because I can go so much farther than that. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like when you when you say why, because I used to say why me, right? All
Mm-hmm.
the time, like why me, why me, why me. But then I had to, I literally like just 2 years ago, like you said, just realized to say, you know what, Lord, what can I do? Who can I touch?
Yep.
How can I use this to bring you glory? And also, how can I use this to help the next person?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you stay in that why whole mentality, you're never going to move. Like you're going to be digging yourself in a ditch the whole time, just
Mm-hmm.
walking in circles over and over again. So, like, when you, I guess as a younger girl, did you ever have any issues that led up to you coming into that relationship with?
So as I look back, of course, the daddy issues,
Mm-hmm.
that not feeling connected
Right.
to the person who is partly responsible for bringing me into
Right.
this world.
That main man. Yeah.
That main, besides
Yes.
God, like my
Yeah,
father,
absolutely. That's what I say,
my
man.
biological physical
Yeah,
father.
you're right.
And we
Mhm.
lived in the same town. We lived in
Mhm.
the same town.
Wow.
And there would be times I remember being younger outside playing, and I might see him ride down, the one street, and I can remember it because I
Mm.
remember it. He
Right.
never stopped. He never said a word. And then my senior year of high school, I took my graduation invitation out to his house because I knew where he lived at, and I stuck it in his door. Me and my friends riding our bikes. I'm like, why we had no car at 18? Kids
Right.
nowadays have
A,
cars.
a girl, even younger than that.
But
16 with cars.
right. So
Right.
we rode our bikes a ways from home. And
Right.
I remember I stuck, the graduation invitation in the door,
Mhm.
and his car was there. Like I knew his car. And he called me later that evening, found out, he worked night shift. And he told
Mhm.
me he wouldn't be able to make it to my graduation. I was going to college. He asked me, did I need anything? And the
Right.
person that my father was dating at the time made sure that I had some things that I needed for college. And him and his girlfriend, they rode along with my mother and her boyfriend to move me into my dorm room. And I
Oh.
remember that ride, like this is the first time, I'm really around my dad.
Right. Right.
And he must have said the stupidest thing to me at
Not
that time as
stupid.
an 18-year-old. Back
Right.
then, MC Light Roughneck was out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he literally, we hit the campus. I went to the University of Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
main campus. And we hit the campus, and he literally says to me, yeah, you're going to come up here and find you a roughneck. And I was like, what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like what father talks? And then,
Right.
I got to remember, he don't even know
Yeah.
me.
You're right.
He don't know me.
Right.
So, I can't get upset. Like, he don't even know me. And
Wow.
then my second year of college ran into some financial issues. And my mother called him and asked him, could he help? She needed $800 to set up a payment arrangement for my tuition. And I
Okay.
called him and I asked him. And by that time, it's my second year. I had a boyfriend at college. And my
Right.
my father is asking me about this boyfriend, not about the financial piece.
Mm.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'm calling this man. I'm
Right.
worried about staying in school, and he
Right.
talking about who I'm dating.
Right.
And I was just
Wrong
like,
question.
what is going on here? I
Mm.
ended up coming home from school after my second year, got pregnant, didn't go back. But at that time, they still paid child support for college kids back then.
Right.
And that was around the time where, the law was changing and stuff.
Right.
About the letter, did I get the letter? I was like, yeah, because my mom she transferred it over to me when I turned 18. So I was getting it.
Okay.
And he called me that summer and, did you get the letter about, the child support stop? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so are you going to sign off to stop it? Like, I remember
Not
this
so. Hold on.
conversation.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I remember this conversation. And I literally said to him, you're asking me about money.
Wow.
Like, you're worried about money. And I told
Wow.
him, I said, I'm not fighting that. Like, I only wanted my dad.
That's all I wanted.
That's all I wanted. But before I
Right.
was able to say that, he accused me of only wanting the money.
Good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. He accused me of only wanting the money.
Because all this time I haven't asked you for nothing.
I haven't asked for anything. It was just that $65 a week. I remember it, $130 every
Right.
2 weeks. That was
Right.
it.
Right.
So when he said that, I vowed. I was like, oh, I will never in my life talk to him again.
Right.
I was done. I will
Right.
never in my life, as a 21-year-old woman, I will
Right.
never in my life talk to him again because you didn't even take the time to get to know me.
Right. Right.
So again, as I look backwards, hindsight's 2020.
Right.
There were some things that stem from that.
Right.
The situation, the person who stabbed me was 13 years older than me. The fatherly characteristics.
Yes. Yes.
That thing that we magnetate to because that's what we need to heal.
Yeah, that's that void that.
Yeah, that's that void. So that
Yeah.
yes. So here we are. I gravitated to that. He had already had children. He was a good father. So I was gravitating to what it was that my spirit needed.
Right.
Not understand that I had it conflicted in my mind.
Right.
Even though he was older than me, relationship wise, I should have been looking for a father figure.
Right.
I didn't know what it meant to have a mate. I didn't know what that intimate partner relationship looked like.
Right.
So it was miscued. Right. It was miscued. It was miscued. So, as time went on and, I'm married now, I've been married 8 years, relationship is healthy.
Right.
Because again, I did my healing work and I
Right.
understand my husband is my husband. It's not my dad.
Right.
He's not
Two
meant to
different
be
people.
my dad. Right. Two
Exactly.
different people.
Right.
But I had to heal that little girl inside
Yeah.
that missed and needed and wanted her dad.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that comes up. The things that we don't heal, the things that we don't deal with will continue to surface until we look them in the face, until we pull it up at the roots. They will continue to fester inside of us until we pull it up at the roots and we're saying, no matter how much it hurts.
Yes, come on.
I'm gonna pull it up at the roots. We'll prune it. We'll clip it so that it looks pretty. Oh, the flower looks pretty. No, you need to pull that flower up at the roots so it doesn't grow anymore.
That's a weed.
That's a weed. Exactly. It's by the time we realize and we accept, what? This ain't a flower.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weed. It's already festered in our spirit.
Right.
So now we got to do extra work. And when we look at it, we're like, oh, it's deeper. It's rooted deeper than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought if I
it's
just
like
cut
that's
it off.
years. Yeah, that's years of growth. Like that's years of grinding in the dirt. Like that's that's not like a 1 year kind of thing. Oh, I just dealt with 1 year. No, you got to go back to Adam and pick that thing. Get that thing from the root from Adam and let's go.
I remember my grandparents had a peony bush. In a peony bush, it was this deep violet color petals. I'm talking about rose petals. These deep like snowball like petals. And this thing bloomed every summer. And it was just so pretty to look at. And, when my grandmother was alive, she would go off and, she would go out and she would clip pieces of it, put it in a vase. After my grandmother passed away, my granddad would do the same thing. But as summer started to come to an end, the petal, I'm talking about rose petals again, the petals would fall off and they would make a mess in the yard.
Right.
So when it bloomed, it was beautiful.
Right.
When it started to change, it became a mess. So my grandfather would cut it down every year. He cut this bush down to the ground.
Wow.
And it's just like, okay, this bush is going to grow back
Right.
year after year after year after year. It will grow back.
Wow.
And I say that to say what you
Mm-hmm.
just said. When you just cut it down,
Yeah.
it grows back.
Yes.
You have to dig it up. I can say that bush, my grandmother, my grandfather, God rest their soul, they're
Right.
not alive anymore. But my mother's in that house.
Right.
That bush isn't there anymore. Why? Because at some point the bush got uprooted. It
Mm.
got dug up. It couldn't
Wow.
grow anymore. And
Wow.
that's what we need to do.
Yes.
When the petals start to fall off and it's getting kind of raggedy,
Right.
you can't cut it down. You can't dress it up. You can't mani petty it. You
You
can't
made
go
it.
get a
Come
perm.
on.
You can't go get a sew-in. You can't
Yes.
go get a lace front. No, you have
Right.
to deal with it. You
Right.
can't vacation it away, retreat it away. You can't education it
You
away.
can't look. You can't even Botox that thing or
No,
get
you
a
can't
skin
Botox
graft
it.
or nothing.
Listen, you're
Skin
going to
graft.
get all these degrees, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, sis, you need to deal with. We just don't pull it up,
Right.
and we gotta
Exactly.
pull it up.
Yes.
We
Yes.
got,
Yes. Yes.
and when we pull it up, say, you know what, I'm enough.
Mm.
I was always enough.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I was always enough. This just doesn't serve me anymore.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Woo, 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 woo. All right. So, so let's backtrack just a little bit.
Yes.
So, like,
Sure.
was it? Because I didn't realize it like from yesterday, truly. But like when you were in the relationship with the
Mm-hmm.
abuser, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it gradual or was it just like it was manipulative? How did the
Sure.
abuse start? Like what did it trickle in like raindrops? Or you know what I mean? Like,
So
mhm.
this is where don't hang up on me.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm
That
I'm
was
here for
that
it.
was a one-time incident.
I'm
It
sorry.
there were yeah, we didn't have a history of abuse in our relationship. That's why I say it was meant to happen to me. It was
I'm
meant
okay.
for me
I'm
to sound
lost. Give me a
crazy.
minute.
Yeah, we didn't have a history
Right.
of abuse in our relationship. Again, looking back,
Right.
we say everybody's narcissist now.
Right.
There may have been some narcissistic behavior,
Right.
but nothing was going on that would lead me to say this person is going
Right.
to try to kill me.
Wow.
Nothing that led up to that moment. Not a sign, not a clue, not an inkling, not a nothing.
Wow. Wow.
Nothing. I
So when the
remember,
moment, okay,
go
I'm
ahead.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Hmm.
I remember one time, and again, just bringing all of this up as I'm out and I'm speaking again and really delving into it. I remember one time, like our relationship was just like really, 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 really good, like really
Right.
good. And I just remember one time he was like, "If you ever try to leave me, I'd kill you," and we chuckled about it.
Right.
And I
Wow.
was like, when I look back, I was like, "Oh, this fool was for real."
He for
You know
real.
what I mean? Like that's why I'm like, watch the words
No, for real. That's
because stuff manifests. And I
yes.
was like, no, he said that, but at that moment, he didn't mean it. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm actually gonna, carry out the
This plan.
act.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, no, no. And it's funny because I wish that, for some people who don't understand it, I wish I could, explain it and say
Right.
at that moment when he said that, oh, yeah, I was on guard, I was on watch because he said it. That's
Right.
not what it was.
Wow.
That's not what it was. We look like the typical two-parent perfect household. Again, we had our moments, but
Right.
nothing, no, that would have led me to think that this day would happen.
Right. So during that day, like from 7 o'clock in the morning to the time it happened, like nothing
Nothing. He had
happened.
called off work that morning. No, he had called off work that morning. And when I got up that morning, I was in nursing school at the time. And I got up that morning and he didn't go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in the midst of, I can say this, We were in the midst of, he was in the midst of moving, because I was just like, you know what, I need my space. I'm in the house with my kids. I'm finally, happy,
Right.
stable. And when he moved in with me, that's not what I wanted, but I wasn't able to say no. And then after time, so long, I was like, this really isn't what I want. It's not what I wanted.
Right.
Like, and I remember, he was looking for a place, but again, still nothing where this
Right.
was
But
nothing. And that morning, he was going to look at a place. I do remember that, but again, nothing, no sign of it. Happened at like 12:30 in the afternoon.
wow. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Leading up to that, I had went to class that day. My daughter was in a preschool program. I had walked her to school. Like, nothing that would have said, Tiff, be on your guard. He's going to
right.
try to kill you. No,
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Mm-mm,
Wow. Wow.
mm-mm.
So yeah, that threw a loop in the thing because yeah, there's some type of some type of sign that'll show you like, okay, yeah, something ain't right. But wow, that's the first. Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
I
So
had this conversation on a podcast last month, and it was somebody who knew me but
right.
didn't know the story in depth. And as I
Mm.
was telling them, they were like, "Ho, ho, 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 ho."
No, for real.
Like, I thought I knew you. I don't know you.
Right. Right.
And
Like I
for
have no idea.
yeah, and for them, they were like, that makes what I know about you even more sacred, serene, and
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
Because I don't run
Yeah.
around here unless I tell you, you don't know
Right.
what happened to me.
Right. That's
I'm
so
not
true.
running
You don't
around.
wear it on your sleeve.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And nobody should, not even just
Oh
this.
yeah.
Your
Right.
situation, wear it on your sleeve for what?
Right. For what?
Yeah.
Right. I'm moving forward with this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
moving. And people tend to things that, can you imagine 18 years later, if I'm saying to you, I still
Mm-hmm.
can't function from something that happened to me 18 years ago. I don't have a job. I'm not going to work because yeah, like the
Yeah.
excuses for
Right.
why I can't,
Right.
why I'm not able to,
Right.
instead of, again, when you do your healing work, embracing, okay, this happened to me. And I know
Yeah.
everybody doesn't have the capability to do that.
Right.
But that's why, there's people like me, my story, your story, to
Yes.
maybe bring hope to people to move
Yes.
beyond those things that happened to you.
Yes.
The
Yes.
power of forgiveness is
Girl, that's the
real.
thing right there.
And that was the thing, with me. Like I said, I had been in my church for so long, and
Right.
I knew the depths of my faith were
Yes.
real. And I
Right.
just kept saying to myself, what if this is a test from God and I
Mm.
fail?
Mm.
What if I fail? I'm sitting in
Wow.
church. Oh, what if I fail?
Right.
And I didn't want to fail the test.
Right.
I'd rather look crazy again
Yeah.
than
Come
fail
on.
the test.
Right.
I didn't want to
And
fail.
just even with the test of, even in the Bible, it also says, if you don't forgive one another, your Father in heaven,
Will
He
not
won't
forgive you.
forgive
Right,
you. So
right,
it's like, wait a minute, Lord, I need you to forgive me.
right. I need you to forgive
So
me. Reminded of
yeah.
that. Reminded of John
Hmm.
3:16. Forgive them, Father, for they know
Yes.
not what they do. My
Yes.
favorite is
Yes.
Job. The book of Job, the
Girl,
second
come
chapter.
on. Hmm. I'm
When
listening.
when when Satan went to God
Come on.
and said, Job,
Come
who is upright,
on.
who
Faithful
is
man.
faithful,
Mm.
if everything from him,
Yeah.
will he deny you?
Mm.
God said, you can take everything but his life. His life is mine.
Right.
And
Right.
Job still, everybody thought Job was crazy. Job's
Right.
wife defied God.
Hmm.
He,
Hmm.
you foolish old man.
Hmm.
Defy God.
Hmm.
Do you not see we losing everything?
No, look, we lost all our
we lost
kids. We lost
every we lost
all our
everything. And
everything.
Job said, no, I will not.
Mm.
I will not. And in his
Yeah.
later years, look at how he was blessed.
Right. Exactly. And that's what a lot of people forget about. Like a lot of people think like, well, my life is Job. My life is Job. But wait a minute, like, do you know the end of his story? Like he came out on top.
He came out
You
on
know what I'm
top.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
What the double of everything. So, but yeah, I was reading the book of Job like last month.
Mm-hmm.
No, the beginning of this month, and well, actually, yeah, last month because it's a new month. But and I was like, every time you saw him go through something or something was stripped from him, what did he do?
Listen.
He went and prayed and he worshiped
Yes,
God.
you better come
Girl, girl,
on.
girl.
No
And I
matter
was
what
like,
it was.
yes.
No matter what it
Friends,
was.
what? Yeah, friends tripping, wife tripping, kids gone, money gone,
Come on.
food gone, everything gone. Everybody looking at you like, what did
What?
you do? What did you do
What did
wrong?
you do wrong? And he said,
Like,
I'm not going to deny him.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not
And he
going to
said
deny
that,
him. I'm not going.
yeah.
And it's funny because I got to a point where and again, spirituality, and I'll put it
Mm-hmm.
on spirituality. I won't even say religion, but
Right. Come on.
spirituality can seem crazy.
Get who you telling? Who you telling?
Spirituality can seem crazy.
Yeah.
And when you understand, and that's what I had to start doing, what you
Mm-hmm.
just said. When stuff started to happen, God, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna wait for you to make it clear to me.
Yes.
God, I'm just gonna wait on you.
Yeah.
God, I ain't gonna move. I'm gonna wait till
Right.
you show me.
Yes.
And now I'm in a season in my life, and again, I chuckle because stuff is happening like that. God
Right.
is showing up in my life, and He's making stuff clear so quick. And
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
it's a whole other dimension now.
It is.
It's a
Wow.
whole other dimension. And it's just like, for me,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to show people you
Yeah.
can manifest the things you want in your life. I'm telling
Yes.
you, I am proof of it. I
Yes.
can show you some stuff, and you would be like, what? Like,
That don't even
what?
make sense.
That don't even, um,
Yeah.
I, my husband just turned 50 in March. And I said
Mm-hmm.
to my husband, for your 50th birthday, you need to get yourself a new car. He's a Cadillac driver. He historically he's a Cadillac
Okay.
driver. He loves Cadillacs, but he didn't have a
Okay.
Cadillac since we've been together. So I said,
Okay.
you need to gift yourself with a Cadillac. Go,
Mm-hmm.
he did the car loan application. He got it. I'm looking through some pictures. There is
Mm-hmm.
a picture of him at GMC at the Towers. We went to Detroit back
Mm-hmm.
in 2017. And there's a picture of him in front of basically the same car that he's driving today.
Wow.
And it was funny because I just happened, I was clearing out some pictures.
Right.
I was like, ho, 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 ho,
Right.
wait a minute.
Wow.
And it's just like, because you said it, I had to
Yeah.
remind you back then, you were bringing
Mm.
this to fruition.
Come on.
So now that's how I'm starting to function.
Wow.
I'm gonna see the end, and I'm
Yes.
just going, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And then
Right.
there's gonna be something that happens that I'm just like, you know what, God?
Yeah. Come on.
The things that are happening now were supposed to happen. I saw them 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
I just wasn't prepared for them then.
Yes. Yes.
I would
Yes.
have I would have squandered them.
Yes.
you
Girl, you
know,
better speak.
I would have
Yes.
squandered them. I wouldn't have
Yes.
known what to do with the money. I
Yes.
wouldn't have known, what to do with the good credit. I would have
Right.
squandered it.
Right.
God said, I can't make you responsible for more because you can't take care of this little bit.
Listen, I even go farther. You couldn't even get your husband until you got your life together.
Till you got your life together. And it's
Yeah.
crazy because it's like, my husband's 6'3", nice looking guy. I
Right.
prayed for you.
Right.
I ain't prayed for all that comes with you. But I prayed for you. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't get specific in it, and that's why I say,
Right. Right.
jokingly, I'm
You
like,
have a list.
God. I said I wanted
Right.
somebody that matched my swag. You gave
Yeah.
me, but
Right.
all that extra stuff, But it's like, no. God said, I gave you the person that matched everything about
Yes.
you.
Everything.
I
Yes.
gave you who you needed as well as who needed you.
Wow.
So yes, it's an amazing journey. It really is. It's an amazing journey. And again, it's something that came from pain.
Yes.
It's something that came from pain. but there was a purpose behind it.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing that people have to look out. Through your pain there is purpose. All
There's
you gotta do is to
purpose.
make it. All you gotta do is keep trusting God,
Mm-hmm.
walking in it, and God he gonna blow your mind at the end.
He
And
go,
I can see, yeah.
God, you want me to do what?
Yep. Girl.
God, you want me to do what?
Right.
God, you want me to say what?
Girl.
What, God? And God's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want you to say it and I want you to stand on it because,
Yeah.
yeah, I want you, I jokingly, and I just, again, I'm writing something because I have, several speaking engagements coming up. And I was thinking, I was like, I was at an event 2 weeks ago and the speaker was talking about, how when she was younger, she was like, she was ugly. She, and the crowd giggled and she was like, no, seriously. And she, pulled up a picture on a
Right.
slideshow. She was like, being in a room with this many women like you, she said, that would have made, I wouldn't have done it because it would have been
Wow.
y'all that was laughing at me, making fun of me.
Wow.
And I sat there and I was
Right.
like, God,
Wow.
why is this stirring up something
Yeah.
in me?
Right.
And then I sat, and as I was driving home, I had a 3-hour drive, and I was just like, God, make it clear to me. Why did that
Right.
sit in my spirit like that?
Right.
And I realized I was like, because you went through the same thing.
Wow.
You went through, everybody now, not everybody, but people are like, you
Right.
have such a beautiful smile, your personality. Well, coming up,
Right.
it wasn't like that for me.
Right.
I'm light skin, had this stupid color, sandy brown hair. I remember being in school and people be like, you're albino. And I'm like, what?
Right.
And just
Right.
there was a time in my life where that was hard and that was rough. And,
Yeah.
I liked school as far as learning, but I didn't want to go to
Right.
school.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. That was hard for me because, people made fun of you. You weren't the cheerleader. You weren't band friends.
Yeah.
You weren't this, you weren't that. You
Yeah.
were just you. You weren't the most popular person. You weren't in
Right.
the in crowd. You didn't have all of that.
Yeah. You didn't look like
You
everybody
didn't
else.
look
Act
like
like everybody
everybody
else.
else. You were
Yeah.
different.
Right.
But guess what? Honey, I married the quarterback.
Come on,
My husband,
girl.
my husband was the high
Girl.
school quarterback, and I
Okay.
laugh now because God's
Wow.
like, I will recover, I will mend
Yes.
all of this.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I
That's
laughed about
crazy.
that the other day because again, we don't boldly stand on that stuff.
Yeah. Right.
We don't boldly stand on that stuff back then. You went through all you went through, but honey, you married
Yes.
the quarterback.
You
like,
married. Look, and folks probably looking at you like, really?
you're right.
Like, out of all them
Honey,
cheerleaders you chose, huh?
I'm looking at me like, I'm like, sometimes I'll be
Yeah.
like, you married what? like,
Yeah.
I
You
do
married
it.
that. Yeah.
I do it. I'm like,
Wow.
in the beginning, he'd be like, it's all these years later. We're like 30 years after we graduated, but he's like,
Right.
do you remember when I played? I'm like, no, no, but everybody
No.
else does.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody else does. And
Wow.
I knew him. But
Hmm.
now it's like, again, as I'm speaking and boldly and confidently, those things that were wrong with us weren't
Right.
actually things that were wrong with us.
Yes.
That's what we think. That's
Wow.
how we feel.
That's the
But
way
that's where
something.
our strength comes from.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's where our
Yes.
boldness comes from. And being able to say, no, I might not have been the prettiest. I might not have been the
Yes.
most popular. But guess
Right.
what? At the age of 48, I've been married to him for 8 years. And our
Right.
marriage
Amen.
is good.
Amen.
So,
I
yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I can tell, like, you have, like, when you talk, you know how you can talk to people and you can sense what they're doing. Like, I can really sense that you got, like, a really, really big smile on your face. Like,
Yes.
it can barely fit your face.
Girl, you better
Like,
know it. Yeah. Yes.
and out
Yes.
of all of that, you are still smiling by the grace of God.
Yes.
And I
Because
love that.
and simply because I'm happy with me.
Yes.
I
Hmm.
don't care what nobody thinks.
Right.
At the end of the day, I am happy with me and I know that I'm
Yes.
doing what's pleasing to God.
Yes.
No matter how it may make me feel sometimes. Sometimes,
Right.
you get tired. Like my phone has
Oh
been on
yeah.
do not disturb since last week.
Not last week.
Yeah, since Saturday. My phone has been
Wow.
on do not disturb because I needed some downtime.
Yes. Yes.
I needed to focus on my business and not the phone
Yes.
conversations.
And social
And
media.
I'm doing social media because I got,
Well, not like that. Not
I
like,
got my
yeah. Yeah.
people. Like
Right.
I love to interact with the people, but I
Right.
just didn't need that time to sit and just conversations that I just needed to
Right.
focus
I love
and
it.
process all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
process being able to say, oh, excuse me, process being able to say you weren't the most popular, you weren't the most
Right.
beautiful, you weren't, but look at where you're at now.
Yeah. Right.
Look at where you're at now. So, pretty amazing stuff. Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing. I know about her. It's definitely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And you can definitely, see God in it all, in it,
Yes.
and in through and through. You can see God in it because I remember when I was going through some stuff. You know how depression. Most women, I don't know about all.
Mm-hmm.
Hair is the first thing to go when you're
Hair is
depressed.
the first thing that
Cause
goes.
so I had a head full of hair, and I got to this depressed state, and I ended up cutting it all off. And the guy that was cutting it, he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on and cut it off."
Mm-hmm.
When he hit that first, I was like, I cried because I was like, "No,"
Mm-hmm.
but there was no turning back. But then, as I looked in the mirror when I got home, I was like, "You know what, Lord, I made the dumbest mistake." But then I asked God, show me. I said, I really want to meet that woman of God that's there inside of me. I said, I don't know who she is. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what she sounds like.
Mm.
But I want to meet that woman right there that's in there. But I don't know what she, because all I see is a bunch of, all I see is, like you said, ugliness,
Mm-hmm.
overweight kind of thing. Like just all this other stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's going through your mind. That's all I see. And I asked God, I was like, God, that woman that's in there, she in there.
She in
I just
there.
want to meet her. I want to meet her. Walk me to her so I can get to her. And
Ooh.
whatever it takes to get to her, like I was saying yesterday, it's like an onion. As I'm walking to her, I have to go through this onion process of
Mm-hmm.
peeling every layer off of my life. And like you said, you have to face it. You have to deal with it. Like even for me, I had to say, help me to forgive the people that I know I'm not going to get an apology from. Help me to forgive
You.
myself. Help me to forgive. Help me to understand. I'm not going to get the right answer that I want from my
Mm-hmm.
dad. I'm not going to get the explanation on why he denied me, why he didn't want me,
Mm-hmm.
why, all these things. I'm not going to get those answers. I'm just going to forgive and let go and let God, build that relationship. So as I'm walking, into this woman, I ain't hit her just yet, but I'm close enough. I'm
You
closer than
on
what
your
I
way.
was back here. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my way. So I told God, I said, Lord, as soon as I step foot in her footsteps, help me to continue to walk. Now, I don't want to get stuck in
Yes.
that woman, but I want to continue to walk in her
Mm-hmm.
because I know in her I'm going to be closer to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to walk in
Mm-hmm.
that calling. I'm going to walk in the things that you want me to do. You're going to get the glory out of all those things that was behind me and also get the glory again when the things that I'm walking into because you're going to, you take over this thing. You take over my life. Like,
Yes.
so in that process, like you said, when you have to face everything and
Mm-hmm.
to start trusting God and building all of that and taking that what you've been through and building on top of it
Mm-hmm.
and and punching the devil in the face and letting him know, look,
Listen.
I'm still standing. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
you should have killed me back then,
Honey,
homeboy.
honey, you should have took
Cause
me out
look,
when I was weak.
you heard me.
When I wasn't built for the fight. You should have took me
Yes,
out.
you should have
You
took
should
me,
have took me out.
girl.
Um,
You should have, yes.
I always say you gotta feel it, deal with it to
Mm-hmm.
heal it.
Yes,
You gotta feel
yes,
it. If that means that
yes.
you on the ground kicking, screaming, crying, you
Right.
have to feel it.
Yes.
You have to feel it. And sometimes that feeling it will be
Yeah.
what almost takes you out. But
Yes.
that's the only way
Yes.
you can get to your healing. And another thing that you
Yes.
said, honey, you gotta forgive yourself.
Come on.
And when you
That's the
forgive
hardest
yourself,
person to
that's
forgive.
the
Come
hardest person
on.
to forgive. You know why?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I can only speak for me, but it was
Mm.
hard for me to forgive myself for some things because I got to a point, if I'm made in the image of God, why did I
Come
allow
on.
these things in my life?
Come on.
If I
Come
know
on.
him and I know
Yes.
who I am, why did
Right.
I allow these things in my life?
Come
Because I
on.
know his power. I
Yes.
found out Tiffiney, my name means the image of God. When I
Okay.
found that out, I said, that's what I want to show up as.
Yes. Come on.
When I walk up in the room, I need you to
Yes.
see God in my attitude, in my
Yes.
smile, in my
Yes.
personality, and
Yes.
just how I carry myself overall as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, I am a nurse now. I am like
Right.
literally,
Amen.
a nurse. I need you to see God. I can't be, my business name is PosiTiff,
Mm-hmm.
POSITIFF, which
Yes.
is a play on my name, Tiffiney, and the word positive.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
be out in the streets acting negative, cussing people
Right.
out, clapping back,
Right.
and they'll be like, oh, she wasn't so positive. So, and
Right.
it's not that I always feel positive. It's just
Absolutely.
that I know how to, mind wise, I know
Yes.
how to focus, and forgiving myself means I always start with me.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing about forgiving self. It means I always start with me.
Yes.
You may have offended me, but my reaction to your offense,
Come
I'm always going
on.
to start with me. I'm always going
Yes.
to maintain my power in every situation. I'm never going to
Yes.
give,
Yes. Or your peace,
never,
honey. Come on.
never going to give my power away. When I
Yes.
learned that,
Right.
that's powerful in itself.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to allow you to treat me any kind of way. I'm
Right.
not going to allow you to talk to me any kind of way. I'm not going to allow
Yeah.
that, but I am responsible for how I react to what
Yes.
you give.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes stuff don't even deserve a reaction.
Come, girl. Listen.
Sometimes stuff we want to
Right.
react to
Right. Ain't
don't
even
even
worth it.
deserve
Come
a
on.
reaction. I give God so much glory because I know me. If I
Right.
had the power, God, there's some
Baby.
people I would have took out of here. God, get
Come
out of
on.
here.
Come on.
Get
That
out of
snap of a
here.
finger.
At
Snap
the
of a
snap
finger.
of a God, get them out of here. God
Yeah.
said, that's why I didn't give you that power.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't give
Right.
you that power, but you
Right.
know the power you hold.
Right.
So again,
Absolutely.
in forgiving yourself,
Yes.
you are worthy of all things good.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
worthy of all happiness.
Yes.
You are worthy of everything that he has for you.
Yes.
Period, point blank.
Period. That's it.
Period, point blank.
That's
And
all.
there's nobody that can take
Nobody.
that away.
Right.
If you can't treat
Amen.
me how I treat me, how he treats me, then
Come
you don't need
on.
to be in my space.
Come on.
You don't
Right.
need to be. It could be husband, kids. I know I get on my
Mm-hmm.
husband's nerves because I'm always telling him, it's God, husband, and you. You're not acting
Yes.
godly. And he'd be like,
Right.
this again? Yes.
Right. Yeah.
You ain't acting godly. I need you to act godly. I need you to get it
Right.
together. And then he'll hit me with it. I'll be like, oh, I ain't mean for that. But
Right.
again,
Right.
I need you to get in line and get in order with that.
Right.
So, mhm.
So we can still move positively forward.
So we
How
can
about
move positively forward
that?
because
Yes.
yeah, sis ain't been negative in a long time, and I don't want to.
That's right. It's too much energy. Like it takes a whole lot of energy just to think of something negative.
Yes, and it's
Like, cause
disappointing when you go
it
in that
is.
space.
It is.
It's like I really let that get to me.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Right.
I really let that get to me where I have a choice. I can remove myself from it, or I
Yes.
can continue to deal with it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I'm more prone to move myself away from if I feel like the energy is not what it should be.
Yeah.
I can remove me.
Yeah. Because that's
I
the
can
only
remove
part
me.
of the situation I can control is
Yeah,
me.
that's the only thing.
Yeah.
What you can control, that's what you deal with.
Yeah.
I can't
Hmm.
control how Sean's gonna react. I can't control how my
Right.
husband. The only person I can control is me. And again, if I allow you into this space, then I'm giving you the power to control
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and I can't have that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like I'm giving you a piece of me that I need to keep for myself.
Yeah, I can't have that. I can't have you in my thoughts. I can't
Girl, all day
money
long.
money
Girl.
wise.
Right.
I'm like, financially, think about it. When your finances ain't right, mentally, you messed up.
You are.
You are messed up. And why is it? Oh, when the finances is right, we can be happy, our minds
Right.
clear. We should be like that all the
Right.
time.
All the time.
Because money is something that we always have access to go make.
Right.
You can always make more money.
Yeah, you can.
You can always
But
fix your circumstances. You can always do and make more money.
right. But you
So
can't
why?
do and always get your peace back
Yeah,
with
you
that
can't always get
situation.
your piece
What?
back. Yeah. So if I gotta work a little more, a little harder to make a couple more dollars, then that's what I gotta do. Cause yeah, I'm
Right.
not gonna sit around and financially, oh my gosh, I can't take care
Right.
of this. I can't take care.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna have my mental disturbed.
Right. Exactly. Or
Mm-mm.
you can just be like, you know what, Lord, you got it.
You
Because you
got
said
it. And
it.
he gonna make a way always.
Always, always,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
always. Oh my God, I truly enjoyed this conversation. Go
Yeah,
like we
me
can go
too.
on all day long about
Yes, we can.
God and the provisions and
Mm-hmm.
just how He brought us out of our life situation and turned it into a glorious story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, your story ain't over because you're still walking. The story ain't over till God saying, you know what, Tiffany, I got you.
I
Come on
got
to the
you.
house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to the next steps of your journey as far as the book and
Sure.
how many women you gonna reach, men and women, because I
Mm-hmm.
know men
Mm-hmm.
deal with the same thing, not as much as women, but they do deal with the same issues as well.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing your name in well, God's name first of all, and then your name
Mm-hmm.
there, just helping women in their situation and letting them know that there is a way out. There is
Yes.
a way out where you don't have to stay bound
Mm-hmm.
in your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, stay
Mm-hmm.
bound in a relationship, stay
Yeah.
bound in unforgiveness, all those things. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So last being said, how can the people find you?
Sure. On all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, it's Tiffiney, Tiffineyl Hall. And my email is info@tiffineylhall.com. Again, it's Tiffineylhall.com. And yeah, please reach out. Please connect. Please
Yeah.
connect. There's some things coming up in these next 90 days that, again,
Yes.
yeah, just connect. That's all I'm gonna say.
And
That's
the
all I'm
name of
gonna
your
say.
book is,
Yes.
your name of
So
your book is.
the name of the book that is out right now is The Power of Positive Thinking: Change Your Beliefs to
Mhm.
Live a Life of Abundance.
Okay.
Yes, and
And then there's
working.
a workbook that's coming out after that.
There is a whole course. There is
Come
a
on. I'm
4-week
looking forward
course
to
that
it.
will be starting in November. Yep, there's a four
Okay.
week course that will be starting in November. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So your
Yes.
girl is on the road
I
speaking. Like
bet.
I don't have a empty weekend anywhere. I'm speaking and just doing things to promote domestic
Yes.
to promote the awareness piece. I always say
Yes.
we got to watch our language because I'm not
Yes.
promoting
Because
domestic
I was about to tell
violence.
you,
Yeah, I'm not a
you gotta
domestic
say that.
violence
Yeah.
advocate. I'm like,
Right.
oh, let's watch our language. That's why we can't
Yeah.
end it. 'Cause we're out here
Yes.
saying we're domestic violence
Come on.
advocates. We're advocating for it. No, we got to watch our language.
Yes.
So, and I'll tell you, I want to thank you for having the courage to do what you're doing because I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know the stigmas that come along with saying, I'm this, I'm that, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. So I want to encourage you to continue to allow God to use you in your ministry because
Amen.
that's what it
Amen.
is. It's a ministry. There's somebody out here who needed to hear your voice and is waiting for you to
Mm-hmm.
find all of that godly woman and
Yes.
encounter her
Yes.
because when you do, yeah, it's gonna be something to reckon with.
The what? Because
Yeah,
I'm ready now.
yeah. You're gonna be showing
I,
out, and you better
you
show
said,
out. You
right.
better
The
show
Lord gonna
out.
be like, wait, calm down, because you're doing a lot. No,
No, he's not. No, he's
no,
not. He's gonna be
no.
like, no, he gonna be like, that looks like me.
Yeah,
He gonna
I'll
be
be
like that.
wild
I ain't
now.
never seen God. God, I think God be showing out. God shows
He
out.
do.
Yeah, God
You
shows
know.
out, and that's what He wants us to do.
Yeah,
I don't want you.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's like, I want you to show out because you know me. You shouldn't look broke. You shouldn't look scarce. You
Yes,
shouldn't look
come
like
on.
lack, struggle, and shame.
Right.
If
I
you
should
know
be
me,
fed.
you should be
Yeah.
looking like something. So
Come on.
I look
Yeah,
forward to it.
amen.
I look
Well,
forward
thank you
to it.
so much.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
that. I thank you for that. But definitely, we are definitely gonna stay in touch
Yes, we
for
are.
sure.
Definitely.
This
Yes.
is a lifetime friendship as
Yes.
well. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to the connections outside of podcast life, just by getting to know each other and walking in God together,
Yes. I got
and
you.
reaching the masses.
I
So
got you.
definitely. So as soon as I get done editing, I will message you,
Okay.
to let you know when your post date will be, and
Okay.
I will let you know when the conversation is posted.
I thank
But I
you.
do, again, yes, thank you. I'm truly honored, to have you here conversating with me. I do try to keep this as a safe space for people to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just to talk, not like a regular interview. Me just bombarding you with questions. Now we finna just talk
Yeah,
real
no,
life.
that was
We finna
good.
just
No,
chill.
that
Yeah,
was good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what I desire.
yeah, that was good. That was really, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Definitely,
Yep, I enjoyed that.
definitely.
So
Well,
I
I hope you
thank you.
enjoy. Yes, absolutely. I hope you enjoy your evening,
You as
and we
well.
will chat. We will chat soon.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
evening. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Uh-huh.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Let's Be Real 100%, when we're 100% real about life. We hope that you enjoyed the topic today, and we hope that you trust God more and more each day. And we hope to see you next week.